This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
Hey everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Now, I got a big old pile, and maybe you can see it behind me, of GMT games. And I looked through it. There were a couple coin games, which I was like, oh, new coin games. Yeah, I love coin games. But there was one that really stood out to me, and it is Mr. President. And I'm going to tell you this much. The game designer was Gene Billingsley, the actual runner of GMT. Now, with all these great designers that he has working for him, Mark Herman, Volko, Herman Luttman, I mean, we can go on and on with all the people that have done things. They have done everything. You know, he could just sit back and not do anything. Just go, I got all these great people, let me just plug in my P500, which is one of the greatest things ever, and just let the machine run, because GMT is a machine. But I'm going to tell you right now, we are going to go down. I'm not going to explain everything because it would be too much. Just as much as it would if the president decided to sit down and tell you everything that he did for a day. But Gene, I'm going to tell you right now, wow. And we're going to talk about this more on the other side. I'm going to give you a little brief idea, and then I'm going to give you my feelings on this masterpiece, Mr. President. There's just no way I could even possibly, in some way, possibly find a way to get all of this in. You know, if you got Tabletop Simulator, that's something you could show it off. But having this in front of you, it's really overwhelming in a way. Not in the sense of the game, because the game, I'll explain something once I put this camera down and I start going through the books and start showing you things. That, you know, there's an ease to get into the sandbox mode. There are all kinds of different things. You're going to have to deal with stuff domestically. Okay, some of the things, your strategic capabilities as far as against cyber war, cyber awareness, your naval, your ground forces, and how you're going to be able to track those. You're going to have these events that some of them are cascading, that are going to come out, and you know, in year one, you might be able to try to do something with it, but year two, you're still going to have to deal with this. Year three, and they're going to move their way down and continually nag you until you take care of it. You're going to have to deal with the media. You're going to have to deal with your cabinet, how you're going to assign them. You're going to have certain strengths that you're going to have here that are going to make you that you'll have certain strengths, what the public wants to see done versus what you're going to want to get done, and your turn. Okay, this is the way things work, folks. Okay, you are going to be going up and down here, checking every one of these during your activation, different phases and activating, and you're going to have a certain amount of actions. And where you decide to use those actions, because they have limited resources. How are you going to spread your resources out to handle not only just world events, because you're going to have to deal with China, the Republic of China, Korea, Russia, and all the other things that you're going to do, and deal with public approval during this whole thing. Just there's so much. When you take a look at this board and you buy this game, and you will go out and buy this game, because I'm telling you, it's something that you must have. How your relations are, you know, your conflict tracks. Okay, there's certain things that go wrong. Okay, if China and Russia influence hits a certain number, you're going to lose the game. When you're playing the sandbox game, it is going to be based on your legacy. What is your legacy that you leave in this office? Okay, and you're going to compare it to your predecessors. Okay, but just looking at this, you understand the pure monumental task of being a president by the size of this board because of all the certain things that you have to deal with domestically, worldwide. Now, I'm going to put this down in a second, so we're going to cut this off for a second, and I'm going to get it set up, and we're going to go over some of the things and explain some of the things that go on here a little bit, and have you take a look, so when you look at this, you go, oh, there's no way I'm going to go get this. This is a must-have, folks, and it's very easy to get into it slowly, but you're going to get what you put into it, and I'm telling you, this is just one of those games that is well worth putting the time into. Now, again, like I said, I didn't put all the chits out and everything like that to show you, there's going to be these activation areas, but I'm going to focus in on one area, and you're going to be rolling dice in certain things because the random events are going to happen, because just like anything else, something can go wrong randomly, and that's the way it goes. The how to play manual here kind of gets you started and explains what you're going to want to, how you're going to want to do things. Okay, so take a look at it. You're going to have your crisis deck here, your nuclear missile track. Okay, because let's face it, that's a problem. Dealing with Congress and dealing with Congress. Sorry, I can't get the word out today. Strategic tracks, state of the nation, the White House, how it functions, all your people in there, your cabinet, your vice president, your chiefs of staff, how you're going to get them to work all these different areas, and you're going to assign them what they need to do. Your cabinet and your administration, the things that they're going to need and that they're going to focus on. Okay, your turn sequence, which we just showed you. The world regions, everything that's going on. Your presidential approval track and your public approval track. Okay, so that really breaks down your whole board. But there's a lot going on here, and this book really does a great job explaining everything, where you're going to want to start, how you're going to want to go through things, and how to play. Like I said, you're going to go through different things. There's going to be terrorism event cards. There's going to be cascading event cards. There's going to be event cards, natural disasters. How do you deal with a hurricane that hits Florida? And really, how much of your resources do you put towards that while you're having problems in the Middle East? So, a lot of smart, a lot of decisions. And this is why, we always hope that we get a very brilliant person in office that can really lead us and help us through all these different exceptional White House resource cards. Those are going to help you out a bit and stuff like that. Winning and losing, of course, how that's going to work. All right. You can lose and very simply, good luck, Mr. President. Yeah. Okay. All right, the books are really good. You're gonna be utilizing your governing manual, which is going to help you a lot. There is a scenario book, so once you get the sandbox part of this done, you're going to play different scenarios. Okay, over the last 20 years, from 2001 to 2004, how you handle certain things. What about 2005 to 2008? With the market crash and all that, how do you handle things from 2008 to 2012 to try to repair a nation after a housing crisis and all the other stuff that you have going on? Your presidential briefing and examples of play, and of course Gene's designer notes, which are just unbelievable. You're going to refer to this when dealing with China. Okay, you're going to refer to this when dealing with Russia. Okay, two superpowers that are going to be a problem. Rogue states and allies. This is where all your charts are going to be for that. World charts. Okay. Certain regions, terror, combat tables, all the things that you're going to need, because you're going to have to deal with things militarily as well. And when do you pull the trigger on something? When do you go and say, yeah, we got to take care of this? Well, if you do go to war, you're going to have your forces here, and how you're going to deal with a conflict. Once it, you're going to have in the middle here, out of number 3, is a stalemate. You're going to try to force it. Whether you're attacking, you want to get it to 5, your attacking forces win. Or maybe you're defending, you want to get it down to 1. How you're going to go about, and how much of your resources are you going to dedicate to a certain area, and what are the ramifications of doing that? That's always something. Then, we talked about worldwide affairs. How are you going to deal with the domestic agenda? Okay? How are you going to figure things out domestically to keep people happy in their country? Jobs, okay, inflation, all these other things. Getting a Congress to work together to do legislation. There you go. I almost got it out. Having a hard time with that word. Sorry, folks. But how do you make a bipartisan Congress to help you get your agenda? How do you bring people together when there's such diversity especially over the last 20 some odd years? Okay, you're going to have some really great, easy charts that are going to help you, that help you with the master actions. And then, of course, you're going to need this bad boy, your turn sequence flip book. Remember how I told you how everything goes up and down during your phases. It's going to break everything down for you, spell it all out for you, and make this just something that is just so well thought out. It's beyond anything I've ever seen. You're going to have chip cups that you're going to be drawing random events out and things that can go wrong. Or as things kind of, mess up with China and Russia, there's going to be chits in there that you're going to have to bring your attention to them instead of domestically. Spreading yourself thin when you have so much going on. This, to me, and after messing with this for at least 10 hours, I have to tell you, I've never played anything like this, and I find this, it has to be one of the candidates for Game of the Year. And I'll talk more about that up top. Hats off to GMT, hats off to Gene and his brilliance. He decided to dive into the big pool when he could have just sat back and let all his all-star designers just continue making great things that they're doing. But no, he raised the bar, and boy, did he raise the bar high. This is going to be a tough one to follow, folks. And I'll tell you this is just something special. So, as I said, this is going to help you walk through this. And just what a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic game. I highly suggest it. It is unlike anything that you ever expect, and it is very rewarding and opens your eyes to a lot of things. It's real easy to sit in the cheap seats and say, hey, you need to do this and you need to do that, until you put your back end in that chair and take a look at what has to be done. So, again, let's head up top and get my final thoughts on Mr. President from GMT. Now, there's no way I could show you everything or lay everything out, but I wanted to give you a scope, because when you sit in front of that board, okay, you get an idea how much a president has on his shoulders. I don't care if you're liberal, conservative, Democratic, independent, Republican. That's not what this game is about, okay? This game is about the man in the chair and the weight upon his shoulders, and how you are going to make the decisions that he has to make it on every single day. This is a game that I've got to tip my hat to Gene, because this is absolutely, this is one of those games that gets my highest rating and is up for Game of the Year for me, okay? Because I'll be honest with you, it's thought-provoking, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and when you sit in front of this and realize that you have to control things on a worldwide basis, and not only that, you've got to take care of things on a domestic policy, all the underhanded stuff that goes on, what kind of scandals, all the different variables that are going to happen, that happen in 4 years, is just unsurmountable. And when you sit in front of that board, it makes you respect that office even more, no matter who sits in that seat. And I think that's what they were going for. It wasn't the point in one direction or another direction. It is about the presidency of the United States and the responsibility and the decisions that you have to make to keep the world safe and keep your country safe. And I think this is a masterpiece, an absolute masterpiece, done by one of the greatest companies in the world, GMT. I mean, this is thought-provoking, it's moving, it makes you just really appreciate things that, my God, thank goodness. Here's a guy that's only making $300,000 a year or whatever they pay. Okay. There are executives of boards that have not even a tenth of the responsibilities and make millions a year. And yet we put somebody in office and they have this in front of them. When you sit in front of that board, you feel it. And this is just a masterpiece. A masterpiece. I highly suggest you pick it up. I highly suggest you get it. It is unlike anything that you will be used to. It is just something special. The way the book works, that really puts you step by step by step all the way through it, and does just a wonderful job of teaching you this very, 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 very difficult game. So there you go. Go get it. Until next time, it's your old pal Rum. We'll see you soon, everyone.